Hey everyone, I'm Jordan Smith, and in this tutorial I will get you started with HTML and CSS. If you have zero knowledge about HTML and CSS, I will get you to the basics of it. And what we're going to do in this video is create your own personal website, just like this one, but done for yourself. And it will only take like 15 minutes or so. Okay, to get you started, we first need a coding editor. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. And it's the most used in the industry. It's really simple and it's really intuitive. It works for all platforms, so just get the one for yours. In my case, it's Windows. Let's download it. Accept the agreement. Next, yes, it's fine. You can just keep default settings. Let's install it. Great, we got it. Okay, here we are in Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is owned by Microsoft. What they allow is they allow third-party developers to create extensions to make development even easier. And what we're going to do is we're going to install two extensions. You can go on the left tab. You have the last one is Extensions tab, and we're going to search for Visual Studio Code-icons, and it's the first one. And what this extension does is it gives files an icon and folders an icon. It's not really functional, it just makes working in Visual Studio Code a lot easier and a bit more intuitive. Once installed, they will prompt you like which theme you want to use, but it's actually just one theme, so let's get that one. Okay, now we got that one. We also need to run HTML in the browser. There's multiple ways of doing it, but this extension makes life just a bit more easy. Let's install this one. Okay, great. Now we got that one. Now we're gonna go to, on the left tabs, we go to Explorer. That's basically where we're always working from. First of all, we need a working directory. So go on the left tab, go to File, go to Open Folder, and then go to Desktop, and let's create a new folder called HTML. Get that one selected. And now we got an empty folder. And now we're ready to create our first HTML file. To do that, we go to this box over here. We do a right click and we select new file. We call this file index.html. And to get started, we type in HTML. I will explain everything later on what I'm doing. Just follow along. Get a head, body, and use Ctrl S to save it. You see this dot over here. When you use Ctrl S, it will disappear. Just make sure your file looks like this right now. Okay, to run this in the browser, we're going to use Ctrl Shift P. and we're going to type in live server, and we see in the browser hello world. And if the browser doesn't pop up automatically, just type in this URL manually in the browser, and you should find hello world over here. Okay, great. We just created our first HTML file, and it's running in your browser. But first you need to know what everything what we just did, what it means. Okay, the HTML between the brackets, this is basically saying to the it's basically the same thing as when you use quotes. The first quote when you say this is the start of the quote and this is the end of the quote. It's the same thing for this HTML tag. This is, you basically say to the browser, hey, this is the start of the file where I'm gonna type HTML in between these tags. This is the end tag and this is the starting tag. For the head, it's basically the same, but instead of just saying to the browser, hey, over here is some HTML, in the head tag is where you do the settings of your page. It doesn't make any sense now because there's no settings yet, but just remember the head is where the settings of your HTML file are. Then we got the body tag. The body tag is a fun part of the HTML file. This is basically what the user is seeing. So just remember, HTML is just basically saying to the browser over here, in between this tag and the closing tag, that's where some HTML is. Between the head and the other head tag, this is where the settings of your HTML file is. And between the body tags, that's what the user will see in the browser window, just like we saw over here. The hello world is what the user is seeing in the browser, and the hello world is also between the tags, the body tags of your file. Okay, that's great. Let's move on now. We've just learned a few principles about coding HTML. We're now going to fill the HTML for portfolio website, for your personal website, however you want to see it. We're going to do it in 3 steps. First, going to put an image of you in the HTML file. Okay, to do that, we go to our folder, and we're gonna see. I'll show you my folders. I was prepared, so I've got this image. Just copy it. Copy, and I've created the HTML file in my desktop folder, and there's a HTML folder. Let's paste it over here, and we also see the image appearing over here. What we're going to do now is going to start an image tag with source. You do double quotes and then dot slash, and then you see Visual Studio Code is helping you a bit. It says like, hey, over here is some files. Which one do you want to use? Well, I want to use this one. I'm going to give it a class that's for some CSS. Call it circle, and we're gonna close it. You can close it like the tag. You can close it if nothing is in between. You can close it like this, but you can also close it like this. In the head tag, the settings part of your HTML file, I'm gonna start a style section. Style is basically the same as all other tags, but instead in between is all the styling of the HTML file. Okay, I'm gonna start with dot circle. I'm gonna use a curly bracket to open it and end it. Use enter, and then type in width. That's the width of the image. Get a height. It's 270 pixels. You also then gonna put a border dash radius. It's 150 pixels, and the border radius is actually not working for all browsers. So to prevent it from not working in some browsers, we're gonna add WebKit border radius 150 pixels. Okay, now we've got this. Use Ctrl S. We see the dot over here. It indicates that we didn't save the file yet. So use Ctrl S. It's gone. And when we go back to the browser now, we see the picture. And when we go back to Visual Studio Code in our index.html file, just make sure my file name of the photo is profile photo. Just make sure it's the same over here, otherwise it will not appear in the browser. Okay, let's set the title and a subtitle. To do that, we're going to use a bracket, H1 and Jordan Smith, and we're going to use subtitle, use H3, and then full stack developer. The H3 is like the big title. You say like to the browser, you say, hey, this is the biggest title I have, and you use the H3 for smaller titles. Let's add some CSS to it. For the CSS, it's not really necessary to know it all right now. You will get to that later. Just follow along. I'm going to use the font size to 27 pixels. Gonna set the font weight 700, margin of 0. I set the H3 font size to 24 pixels, font weight to 500 pixels, margin of 24 pixels. Let's change the text itself. I'm gonna set the font family to Helvetica sans serif. Color and a margin of 0. Use Ctrl S, save it, and now we have a title and a subtitle. Okay, let's get a background for the website. Let's go to Pexels. Pexels is a really nice website. It has a lot of free images without copyright, so that's great. Everything on it, you can just download it for free. It won't get you in trouble. Just find whatever you want. I want a jungle background, so let's get one. I like this one. Let's download it. Save as. Background. And let's go back to Visual Studio Code now. As we can see, background image appeared in our Explorer. And before we can add the background, we need to add something to the body, just for layout purposes. So a dash div class is main box. Visual Studio is helping me open for an opening and closing div. It's gonna delete that, and on the end I'll get the div as well. If you select all of this and you press tab, it will go to the right. Will make a code look a bit more pretty. And div class equals text vertical center. Delete that as well, and add a div closing tag over here. Let's select all of this, use tab again to make the code a bit more pretty. That's great. Okay, let's put some styling in. And again, please don't feel guilty to know all of this. Just follow along. CSS is really complex, and you'll get there later on. Display table, position relative, width 100%, and the height 100% as well. Background, this is the fun part. URL, and then as we said before, dot slash, and then backgrounds dot jpg. No repeat, center, scroll, and background size cover. I think I need to remove this one. Yeah, now it works fine. The other one, the text dash vertical center, display table cell, text align center, position relative, top minus 50 pixels, and vertical dash align middle. Okay, make sure you have all this. I think this is it. Yeah. And please make sure the background, you have an URL, and my file is called background. And over here is also background. Make sure both are the same, otherwise it will not appear. Use Ctrl S and go back to the browser, and then we see our beautiful website. I can't even read the title, so let's change that. When we go to body, we see the hashtag 333. I'm going to change that to white. Color is basically the color of the text itself. Don't change it to that, please. Just white. Great. Let's go back to the browser. That's readable. Well, actually, I want a different background. Let's go back to pixels. And let's use a darker one. So I can still read the title and subtitle. This one should do. Just gonna save it like the previous one, same name. Yes, I want to overwrite it. I'm gonna go back to the website. This looks way better. Oh, and that's it. If you don't see this a website just like this, go to the description below. There's a link of GitHub, and there's a full file. So if you maybe made a typo or whatever, you can just check it over there. Just copy and paste it, and then it should look like this one. Anyway, congratulations, you've just made your very first website ever. And for sure you don't know anything about it yet. It's just a 15-minute tutorial, so we'll skip a bit with the CSS. CSS is quite complicated, and couldn't explain it all in just 15 minutes. But at least you have a feeling of what programming is like in HTML and CSS. And if you play around a bit with the code, you will see changes appear in the browser, and you will get better at it over time. And if you want to get even better in HTML and CSS, I've got my own course on Udemy. It's only $35, and I will teach you everything you need to know about HTML and CSS. We're going to continue to work on this personal website. This is just one section, but we will make a complete personal website. The course is linked in the description below. Make sure you check it out if you're interested. Anyway, thank you guys so much for following this course. I hope you have a feeling of what HTML and CSS is like. As you can see, it's not rocket science. You just need a few things and you can already get started. If you didn't like this video, you know what to do. But if you liked it, please hit the like button. It helps me a lot. I'm planning on making more videos about HTML and CSS and other programming languages. So if you'd like to stay updated, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. And hopefully I will see you next time.